Alright, so what am I gonna record today? Oh, what is this? Oh. Well, I guess that's gonna tell me what we're making a video on, huh? Hey there, Postal here, Squeaky Voice Postal, in fact. We are taking out the JL-1A-37 because we have to. It's very funny, I actually flew this on Saturday during my stream, as requested. And so there's quite a lot of talk about this plane, and now they've got it on sale. So what is the JL? It's an odd duck plane for sure. Let's see what map we're on. Okay. It is basically a Tier 8 version of a MiG 9. And what do I mean by that? You've got two 23mm cannons, and you have one 37mm cannon. And combined, you overheat very quickly and do lots of good damage. This plane is not very maneuverable. It's pretty quick. Reasonable altitude performance. I should say above average, easily, in the altitude performance. But all this in combination makes it a much better plane for going for heavier targets. Well, or maybe I should say non-moving targets, non-maneuvering targets. It's not a very good dogfighter, to be honest. At least starting out. I'll definitely go over what I feel is, in both my my experience, but also I know there's people out there that have been playing this plane for a lot longer than I have and who have it set up properly, so I'll give their perception and best setup of this plane, because honestly they're going to be the experts, people that have been playing this for a while. I've only had this plane for a little while now. I don't even have it specialized. Yeah, so let's get some altitude performance here. Let's go get Dermont. So something like a P-47N actually is going to be pretty nice for us to take on, typically. Although I overheated my guns, and I'm going too fast, and we've got to just move along. Let's use some of our altitude performance and our boost ability. ME-209 could actually stick with us decently, but didn't, so thank you, bots. I don't care about him, so let's go cap this sector. There's a heavy fighter inbound. But we've got... what are we going for here? Let's actually get this guy. He's going pretty slow. We can get the 37mm cannon to hit him, hopefully. There we go. We can move along. Something that I highly recommend with this plane is, so I actually have my quote-unquote secondaries set up on a separate button from... I have the ability to fire just my secondaries. So I've got just secondaries, like here, which in this instance is 23mm cannons. And then once I get close enough, I can fire all the cannons, which, you know, didn't really help there, but can help sometimes. It actually helps very often, but didn't work out very well there. Anyway, so I highly recommend having some sort of setup like that, where you can, when you're out of the range of the 37mm cannon, which is a shorter, approximately like 600 meter range on this 37mm cannon, you're able to fire just the longer range 23mm cannons. And then when you get closer, you can fire all three cannons, and you can, you know, be as efficient as possible. You don't want to be firing the 37mm too early and have it, because it overheats so quickly. You'll have it overheat before you're actually even utilizing it, having a literal impact with it. And there we go. Got Frodo over here. Going for the type of plane that I just said we shouldn't really be going for. I was hoping, if it's always tempting, like that kind of stuff. When your 37mm cannon hits, you're like, okay, cool, totally going for that Spitfire, or whatever it might be, because obviously you're not going to have any issues killing things like Spitfire. The problem is the gun actually hitting, and if Spitfire's trying to outturn you, then you're going to regret your life choices, because everything's going to fail miserably. There we go.
Command centers are under our control. Communication
Ow.
orders established.
Thank you, VB. That was sarcasm, by the way. Ah, frickin' fire, man. Frickin' fire. Alright, so they've got the mining facility. You know, focusing on the game here. They've got the mining facility. We've got both command centers. Yeah, we're doing pretty well, but this could easily turn around, especially if this NC-1070 does, you know, NC-1070 kind of things. So we need to be mindful of that. So I'm going to head over here and try to defend a little bit. Typhoon's a pretty turny plane as well, so I need to be mindful of. I don't have this plane specialized. I already know exactly how I'm going to set it up once I do specialize it, because, gosh, I know the weaknesses of this plane are its guns. Its strength and weaknesses. And I think the weakness is because they're so strong, you always want them to be hitting their target. You just always have that issue, right? Am I going to get rammed by this BB-10? No, good. Up and over. What's funny is this plane was a freaking trainer, a Chinese trainer. And of course, in game, that doesn't matter. Excuse me. Going after things like VB-10s, any kind of heavy plane basically is going to be your forte. Let's go ahead and hit my boost on here. Because you've got really good speed. Unless you're going against something like a 262 that wants to get away, you're going to be able to stick with most heavies. You've got these really heavy-hitting cannons that aren't very accurate, but it doesn't matter when you're going against something that can't really outturn you. And so, you know, you're going for exactly what you want to go for. This is my first game of the day. I guess it's going to be my recording, considering I already got Hero of the Sky, so yay. Even though it's turned out to be air supremacy, which I don't typically like for personal points reasons. It is showing you the strength of this plane. Now, keep in mind, we'll talk about this more in the hangar, I'm not having to deal with anything that would make my life hell. I'm not having to deal with a human that's in a P-80A, honestly, would be a very difficult plane to go against, or could be. A Vampire could be a very difficult plane to go against, because it's got the speed, and most people that have Vampires have them fully spec'd out and all that jazz, right? So I'm not having to deal with that kind of stuff. But that being said, you still have to follow through with your you know, I've got nothing to hold me back, so I need to follow through with it and do the best I can. So pretty good all-around battle. Let's head on back. Alright, got 17 kills there. Unfortunately, died that one time. Could have gotten a Mercedes, darn it. 15,000 personal points and a decent amount of capture points. A lot of that capture points was actually defense, right? Working on specialization here. Was able to just completely freaking cancel out General Frodo here and his 1070. So sorry, buddy. But I mean, it is what it is. Again, nobody's gonna say, "Wow, Postal, like that was, you know, the odds were stacked against you." I've got a great plane and really nothing to stop me. The enemy was a ground pounder. I know how to go against Spitfire 9s, and I got lucky against the 209 the one time that I, you know, could have died to him. So, what is this plane? Again, it's a MiG. It's a Chinese MiG-9. So, there's a caveat to it being good: is it's Chin-freaking-ese. What that means is it's basically worthless other than for credits. Yeah, it's a Tier A premium, so it's going to make you credits. But you're going to be building a pilot to nowhere land. The offer from Wargaming right now is an 8-point pilot, which is cool. I got mine with an 8-point pilot, I believe. Yeah, there's 8 points. Haven't gotten the 9th pilot yet. Excuse me. So yeah, you get an 8-point pilot, but what are you going to do with that 8-point pilot? Well, there's nothing to do with it. all these planes that are left over are all premiums. There's no tech line. I'm not building towards my tier 10 Chinese tech line plane. It doesn't happen that way. And so the first thing I need to say before we even talk about the stats, before we talk about the true impact of this plane is, it's a Chinese premium. The only thing you're going to get out of it is credits. For me, that's not good enough to spend $50 on. No matter how good the plane is, I'm building up a pilot that's going to do nothing, and I'm going to be helping nothing else. There's 5 tech nations, that you could have a premium plane, a tier 8 premium plane, a very good tier 8 premium plane, in one of these nations, be helping pilots and credits. Vampire's a prime example. Hell, Seafang even though it's been, the current meta is not very good for the Seafang, it's still a tier 8 premium, so you're going to earn credits and, be building up a pilot. Japanese has a tier 8 premium, not that I recommend it. That's a different video. Germany has 2 good tier 8 premiums. The DO is very good if you're a veteran player of the game and you understand the mechanics of that type of plane. It's not a very good plane if you're new to the game, for sure. It's got a very, very, very difficult learning curve. The ME-109TL is actually more of the same. Difficult learning curve in my opinion. But still, they can be good planes, and they're 2 tier 8 premiums that can help you build up your German pilots. The I-260, the RB-17. Again, are you understanding this pattern of tier 8 premiums that are available, P-80A and XP-54, that are good enough, first of all, P-80A and XP-58 specifically is really good. They're good enough across the board, and you can help your pilots out, all your pilots in that nation. The JL-1A-37 can't help any pilots anywhere unless Wargaming changes the way that Chinese planes work, unless they add some freaking Chinese tech line randomly that's literally never been talked about in 6 years or however long it's been. So yeah, keep that in mind. If you get this package with the JL-1A-37, that's what you're getting as far as impact to your overall tech tree. Kind of equate the JL-1A-37 to the Type 59. This is one of those planes, if you've ever played World of Tanks, this is one of those planes that, this is a tier 8 Chinese premium. It's not seen very often because it's randomly available. Although it's been available twice this year, I think. Or maybe it was almost a year ago the last time this was available. And so that's why I kind of equated it to Type 59. That being said, this is a strong fighter. So don't get me wrong about its impact to the Chinese tech line that doesn't exist, because there is no impact to that. The plane itself is very good, or can be very good, especially if you like the MiG-9. If we look here at the MiG-9, hello, there we go. MiG-9 gun setup is very similar, although the MiG-9 is going to be stronger guns. Keep in mind the MiG-9's tier 9, so yeah, the airspeed, maneuverability, and altitude performance are all going to be higher, but for its tier, the JL-1A-37 fits that role very well. It's not completely out-altituded by many things at all, just like the MiG-9 isn't. The airspeed is excellent for its tier. Keep in mind, I'm not specialized in this plane, and I'm still able to, have really good airspeed, as you saw in that game. I've certainly built mine 4-speed on top of that. We'll have some adjustments once I specialize it. So yeah, this is a good plane, especially if you like the MiG-9 and MiG-15 playstyle. You're gonna like the JL-1A playstyle. I don't know if it's just not worth $50 to me, because I can't build up a pilot that's usable anywhere else. It's your money. To be honest, the fact that you get steel crates and some other jazz for it for the $54 that they're asking US on NA. Tier 8 premiums in general are $54 basically. So to get this plane plus all the other stuff for that same price is actually a good price for a tier 8 premium. as long as you don't mind your pilot being useless. Setup. Let's take a quick look at setup. So, I really do want to get this plane specialized because the first thing I need to get is reinforced bolt carrier on my weapons firing. Having the longer burst duration is really what you want with this plane. The cannon, the 37mm cannon, hits so hard that you don't need, GOA, a gas-operated action. You don't need the long gun barrel. All you need it to do is just fire a couple more times, and you'll hit the plane in front of you, and you'll win. It's really the same kind of setup that you want with your MiG-9 and MiG-15. Those that I've talked to that have this plane specialized have reinforced ball carriers on it as well, so this isn't just my perspective. This is something I've reached out to those who talk to me. Not that there's a bunch of you, but those that are in my community, so to speak, have stated and agreed with and stated that's exactly what they do, so that's why I stand behind that decision. As far as the airframe and engine are concerned, there's a lot of flexibility on that. Right now I've got mine built for speed because it's not specialized, so I typically go all in with airspeed or maneuverability based on what my plane is already good at before it's specialized. Now once I specialize it, and you can really max out the equipment, well then I start to say, okay, well do I really need like that much speed? I'd like to put some maneuverability. I could very easily see myself putting a lightweight wing frame on here instead of polished skin. Polished skin takes away from maneuverability. So once I specialize it and I know that both my uprated engine and my gas turbine can be like buffed up, then I'm going to get plenty of speed from these two. I don't need polished skin. I can take off polished skin, put lightweight wing frame, which will basically double my maneuverability because the polished skin's taking away from maneuverability. So I'll cancel the negative of this and then add a positive from this. I'll add a lot of maneuverability to the JL. That's my plan. I've talked to people that have a full maneuverability setup on this. They've got it specialized for maneuverability because they say that the plane has plenty of speed already. Going full maneuverability, meaning lightweight wing frame and lightweight engine, makes this plane really viable because you still have pretty good airspeed, even though you're not as fast as you could be. And you've got some sneaky maneuverability. I can see that working. Obviously, it's working for some people. I like that you've got the flexibility. I could go all in on speed. I don't know how high I could get the airspeed of this, but I'm sure I could get it close to 90, maybe even above that. But I think I'm probably going to do what I told you about. The other important equipment is going to be the gyroscopic sight. There's no reason to have anything else on this plane in the cockpit. G-suit doesn't make sense. Navigational radio equipment, again, doesn't really make sense. Because the issue that you're going to run into is you need your 37mm cannon to hit. If your 37mm cannon's not hitting on this plane, there's no point to this plane. You want that 37mm cannon to be decimating the planes that are in front of you. And for that, you need accuracy. I was contemplating changing my my setup here to actually putting Marksman 2 on here. I think that's really important. Once I get my next point, I will definitely be probably exchanging Aerobatics Expert for Marksman 2. Maybe I'll exchange Engine Guru 1 now that I think about it for Marksman 2. I don't know. I really do feel like Marksman 2 is important. I'm tempted to get rid of one of these 3 items right now. Well, no, I'd have to get rid of 2 of them, wouldn't I? Yeah, that wouldn't be worth it. Never mind. Marksman 2 is definitely my next point. My skill that I'm going to be utilizing for this particular pilot. And the reason, again, is just making sure the 37mm cannon can hit when you need it to hit. When you want it to hit. I guess you don't ever need it to hit. As far as my consumables are concerned, pretty basic for a Tier 8 premium fighter. First aid dressing is always going to be my first choice when it comes to something that relies on its pilot and accuracy. So that's going to be this one. The plane doesn't catch on fire all that often, but even if it did, it doesn't matter. It's not going to catch on fire enough to warrant having a fire extinguisher over the first aid package. Pneumatic control assist for those times when I get stuck into a turn fight that I didn't mean to get stuck into. Or if I just need to out-turn something for half a second so I can get, it's got 1 hit point, 10 hit points. I just need to turn for just a little while longer. He's only 10 feet in front of me. I'll out-turn and use pneumatic control assist. I don't even think I used it this battle, but that's what I've got it there for. I don't see something like the bleed system's definitely not worth it. Emergency control system, that's warrantable. If somebody feels that that's better for their playstyle, that's perfectly fine. For my playstyle, the pneumatic control assist is the better way to go. As far as the engine is concerned, I do not get this engine knocked out all that often at all. So engine cooling is my first go-to. I'm almost certainly going to do improved mixture control once I specialize the plane. That's my playstyle. I tend to go all in. I trust that I'm going to be able to avoid taking too many hits. And I like that extra little bit of speed. That being said, putting manual engine restart as your consumable, or at least your second consumable once you specialize it, completely understandable. Everybody's playstyle is a little different. And having an engine working is certainly important. No arguments there. But again, I'm going to be doing engine cooling and improved mixture control. I do universal ammo just because it's only 10,000 credits, and I say only with quotes around it. You're in a premium plane, put universal ammo on. You might as well. You're going to make a profit. Speaking of profit, let's take a look at what I actually did. It's something that I didn't discuss. What did I do here? Well, 20,000 credits was used for service. 10 of that was for my universal ammo. And then part of it was going to be used for, was actually used for the engine cooling. I didn't use anything for the first aid package, and I didn't use my pneumatic control assist. So conceivably, I could use 40,000 credits in a go. I only used 20. The repair was 4,700, meaning that overall I made 175,000 approximately. Right? And that's not with premium time. So I don't have premium on NA right now. I do have tokens, so I probably should. That being said, if I had premium time, I would have made, more than 250,000 credits easily in this particular battle. You are in a tier 8 premium. You're going to make credits almost no matter what you do. Again, it's just another reason why these are the consumables that I've got, because I don't mind using them on a tier 8 premium. It's just going to make your plane better. I'm going to make my 10,000 back on universal ammo just by doing the damage. I'm going to make my 10,000 back on engine cooling because I'm going to get to the sectors that I need to get to quicker, or I'm going to get away from the enemy that I need to get away from quicker, and I'm not going to die. And it's going to keep me alive to earn even more credits. So, in my opinion, these consumables on a tier 8 premium, or any consumables on a tier 8 premium, is the way to go, just because it makes you more viable and you're going to balance out with your earning potential. So, what do you think? Overall, honestly, the plane's a very good plane. It's a shame that it is on a nation that doesn't do anything. The bundle that is offered is actually, in my opinion, and I'm basing this on $50, tier 8 premiums, the bundle that's available is actually very good for the price point for this type of plane. Alright, so just checked. You're getting a paint scheme, you're getting the 8-point pilot, you're getting 5 steel crates. So it's the 5 steel crates that make the $53 package kind of sort of like, more than worth it, I guess you'd say. Because the normal tier 8 premium with quotes around it is about the same price. Getting 5 steel crates and the 8-point pilot makes it quote unquote worth it. And all I mean by that is on par with the other, it's more, you're getting more bang for your buck for a tier 8 premium. But the huge caveat is, again, it's a Chinese premium. Like, you're not building into your 262 HG3 pilot. You're not building into an 1101 pilot, or your MiG-15 pilot, or your XF-90 pilot. You're not building anything of a tech line that you've been grinding in a tech tree plane that you really like. You're making a JL-1A-37 pilot better, and that's it. That might be fine with you. You might just want it because, it's a plane that not everybody has. It isn't available very often at all, and you just want to have it in your. Then you're gonna get this plane no matter what. If you're that type of person, it could have been $75 plane, and you're gonna buy it, right? As this plane is good in certain hands, if you're good with MiG-9s and things of that nature, I-250s, whatever. But even though you're getting 5 steel crates for free, basically, and an 8-point pilot for free, it's still really hard for me to recommend this plane just because of it goes nowhere. Let me see if I've got the paint scheme that you can... No, I don't have I actually don't have the paint scheme. It looks like it's a speed paint. It's like silver, kind of looks like this, but it's got yellow on the front edge wings here. Got red tip on the front here, and it's that chrome kind of look to it. Stainless steel, whatever you want to call it. The shiny, I'm assuming it's a 3% paint scheme, 3% speed paint scheme. It's exactly what it looks like to me. I don't have that. So you're getting a paint scheme that's uncommon for it as well. It looks like you're getting the 8-point pilot. You're getting 5 steel supply crates, which are, gambling loot crates. And so again, it might totally be worth it to you. That's fine. I'm my job here, quote unquote, isn't to tell you what to do with your money. If it wasn't for the fact that I am making content for World of Warplanes, if it wasn't for the fact that, I know people want to see videos on this, want to see opinions on it, I wouldn't have gotten this the last time it was available, just because it's Chinese plane. Like, there's literally no... You look on any of the forums, any of the discords for Wargaming, there's no talk from any developers or anything about there being anything to do with Chinese planes in the future. So you could build this pilot up to a 15-point pilot, and it's just going to make the plane better. It's not going to do you any good. So maybe I'm one-sided. Maybe I feel like I need my plane to be viable for my tech line, for a tech line. If they change the Chinese planes to be something like the European premiums, where you can make it any nation, if you could make this into a Soviet premium, by paying the money to like you would on the European nation, this would totally be worth it. That simple change to the Chinese tech line would make this plane 100% worth it. If they added Chinese tech line miraculously, this plane would be worth it. It is a good plane in the right hands. Let it be known that the 37mm is a very fickle single cannon, but if you can make it work, it's a very good plane. It's really hard to recommend, though. And that's not even to go talk about everything the Wargaming's doing on their other frickin' games right now, which is a totally separate next level cluster F, and really has me perturbed. But that's a different discussion point. So, the JL-1A-37. Good plane, yeah, honestly, especially if you like this style of plane. Non-turny, fast fighter, heavy hitting, but RNG based on its hitting. Yeah, I mean, if they just want to, if you're into that play style, this could be very good for you. If you're not down with that play style, you could be spending $52, $53 and being frustrated. And I hate telling people about planes that could be good and then buying them and being like, you know what? I played it, for a few hours and it's not me. It's a lot of money to spend on a plane that's not you. So don't let this gameplay say, oh, well, this plane's easy squeezy. I literally was just playing it a couple days ago. I like the MiG-9 and MiG-15. I really like the MiG-9. And so it fits a playstyle that I enjoy. And so I'm going to make it look good just because it fits my playstyle. Your playstyle. Your monetary constraints. My initial impression is it's not worth it no matter how good it is. But that could be different for you. Anyway, I'm done rambling. I definitely apologize. I'd love to hear your opinion on this plane. Do you have it? If you've got questions about the plane, feel free to comment down below. Feel free to reach out to my Discord. The link's down below as well. The community there is really good, really honest. They'll give you more details about the plane as well, and I'll be available in Discord as well, of course. But otherwise, I really appreciate you hanging out with me today, and I will catch you next time. Bye.